Right now today, millions of families are completely done with, fed up with, and leaving the conventional medical system and standard pediatrician, and you are moving en masse, full speed towards natural, drug-free, holistic healthcare. And you're looking at all the different options that exist on that side of the proverbial fence, including for thousands of families, probably right now today, you're taking a long look at chiropractic care for your kids and your family, but you don't know if there's different kinds, if there's different specialties, and you kind of see that there is, but you don't know which one is which and which one will fit your family perfectly. Well, there are three main types of chiropractic care, each of them awesome in the specifics of what they do and who they serve. And throughout my career, I've actually gone through all three and taken advanced training and even applied them into my practice. So in this video, I'm going to really help parents choose, first off, just what is chiropractic care and how can it help your family? But most importantly with this video, what are the three main types of chiropractic care? What are their differences? What are their benefits? And how do you know which one is absolutely best for your family? Because awesomeness, the main awesomeness of chiropractic across the board is we're seeking to address the root cause and we're working with the nervous system. So we dig deeper than other types of practitioners, especially conventional pediatricians and medical doctors. And we really access and take care of the most important system in the entire body, the nervous system. But out of the three different types of chiropractic, one does that just obsessively, I would say, and I'll get into that as this video goes on. So first and foremost, my career has followed the arc of these three different types of chiropractic care, which is why I'm so excited to tell you the differences, because I've experienced them myself for my kids, my family, and my practice. So number one is what we call standard spinal musculoskeletal focused chiropractic care. Now, this kind of chiropractic care is probably what you're thinking of when you think of chiropractic. Unfortunately, this is about the only kind of chiropractic you're going to see on YouTube and TikTok. So if you're considering chiropractic care for your kiddos, do not go to YouTube, do not go to TikTok, do not go to Instagram, because those chiropractors putting a whole bunch of, popping and cracking videos out there, those are standard spinal, back and neck pain focused chiropractors. Now, the crazy thing is, despite how those videos look, this kind of chiropractic is ridiculously safe, and this kind of chiropractic is wildly helpful for back pain, for neck pain, for musculoskeletal and joint issues. And while this is no longer my specialty and our focus of our practice at all, it's something that the majority of chiropractors in your community, this is what they do. And it's awesome. And this kind of chiropractic is so much better than drugs and surgery and opioids. We have a serious problem with back pain and neck pain and lack of fitness and health and those sort of things in this country and in this world. So this kind of chiropractic can be wonderful for people struggling with those issues who don't want to turn to opioids and don't want to turn to surgery, which has obviously just a litany of short and long-term effects. So if you're thinking of chiropractic for your kids, but all you see in your community or all you see online is kind of this standard spinal, there's a lot of pictures of bones and the spine in their imagery and so forth. And that is an awesome kind of chiropractic care, but there's a different kind of chiropractic care that'll probably be a better fit for your family. Now, before we get to that one, the second one I want to talk about in this video is what's called functional neurology or a functional neurologist. Now, for me, early in my career, this was the most exciting path that I was taken down. So functional neurologists are those that get deep into all the intricacies and the complexities of how the nervous system works. You will find no bigger nerd in the world when it comes to the nervous system than me. And so I went through and I got all these advanced certifications, and I was doing this work in our clinic outside of Chicago, had a full functional neurology clinic before it even hit, actually before Instagram even started. There's the gray in the beard. And what this kind of care does is it really works with things like primitive reflexes and the vestibular and proprioceptive system and neurointegrative exercises. So basically this kind of chiropractic, and we kind of got to put chiropractic a little bit in finger quotes there, because a lot of functional neurologists will not adjust or not adjust much at all and adjust in a very different way. So chiropractic for some of them is still part of the package, but for a lot of them, it's not. It's a lot more like an OT, PT sort of focus where there's a lot of different therapies. Often, this is where you will see biomedical, functional, and integrated medicine come in. So a lot of supplementation, nutritional advice, diet. Basically, I'll sum this second one up with this. It's about 700 different things happening all at once under one roof. Now, to me, when I really wanted to help kiddos early in my career with autism and epilepsy and chronic neurological challenges, and my standard, so most chiropractic school, all chiropractic schools for the most part, they train us in option one. They train you to be a standard spinal, back and neck pain specialist. And that's, again, awesome. But there's so much more that chiropractic can do, so much more. And so when I got into this second place, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to help kids as much as possible. So when I got my functional neurology training, it seemed like the perfect thing to do, because this is kind of how I think we all think. The more, the better, right? But the most important thing of this video, where we're breaking down the different types of chiropractic care, is I can actually insert probably the most important lesson I can share with families in today's world, where we do have all these different options. And often I find families with autism and epilepsy and these different things are doing all the things all at once. There is a specific sequence to neurological healing. There's a specific batting order and sequence to how the brain and nervous system are supposed to develop. And what I found when I built this whole multi-integrated, I had tons of different professionals under one roof. We did lab analysis, we did stool, we did hair, we did all the PT, OT, primitive reflexes, all the things. We found our results got worse, not better, because one, we were overwhelming and overloading a child's nervous system, which was already overwhelmed, already overloaded, and already out of balance. And actually, the more I studied how the nervous system really works, I found out that it's actually more simple and more sequential than it is complex and convoluted. And what I found is when we're working on things like primitive reflexes and neurointegrative exercises and detoxes and so forth first, or in the early stages of care, we were actually destabilizing the nervous system for these kiddos, because we were doing things in the wrong order instead of doing things in the right order. So that gets us to the third option of chiropractic care, which is neurologically focused chiropractic care. Across the world, you're going to hear this as PX Docs Network. Now, this kind of chiropractic care by name alone doesn't sound that different, right? Because the neurological words are in the same title. But there's a world of difference between functional neurology and neurologically focused chiropractors who see kids, especially the pediatric specialists like in the PX Docs Network. This kind of chiropractic care focuses entirely on the central and autonomic nervous system and on the vagus nerve. And what we know is that whether it's autism or epilepsy or ADHD, or honestly even constipation and immune and GI issues, really any issues in kids and patients, it starts with the nervous system getting stuck in what's called sympathetic fight or flight overdrive. The technical terms for this are subluxation, sympathetic dominance, nervous system dysregulation, and kind of a catch-all word called dysautonomia. Now, I'm not going to break down each of those in this video, but those things are the specialty of neurologically focused chiropractic care. More so than anything else out there, we focus entirely on this real foundational root cause of kids' challenges, especially neurosensory, neuroimmune, and neuro-GI issues. And what happens when the nervous system gets stuck in sympathetic dominance is it gets stuck altogether, and it doesn't go through the proper sequence of neurological development and neurological function. It is out of balance, and it is dysregulated. And so if we try and do things that are secondary or tertiary first before we handle the central and autonomic nervous system and get it functioning, get it back in balance, well, those things can be great on paper and look great on a website and look fantastic and fancy on Instagram, but they won't work. They won't get results if they are done first. So what's the most biggest difference about neurologically focused chiropractors that see kids and families versus the first two options is our relentless obsessive focus on taking care of the central nervous system. The nervous system is the boss. It is the air traffic control that runs our motor system, gross and fine motor. It is air traffic control that runs our digestion, our gastric motility, absorption, elimination, detoxification is dependent upon nervous system function. And so is the immune system and controlling inflammation. And because we're talking about the nervous system, we're obviously talking about the brain. When a child's nervous system is stuck in sympathetic dominance, it's stuck in what's called its primal brain, or the amygdala. So there's big emotions, there's big tantrums, there's immaturity that happens when a child is subluxated and stuck in sympathetic dominance, which this third specialty of chiropractors focuses entirely on. So you can't really do these brain-based therapies or do these OT, PT sort of things first if you don't first handle this subluxation, sympathetic dominance, and dysautonomia. So the third kind of chiropractic is an entirely focused kind of care on the most important system in the entire body, which is the nervous system. And so once you get the nervous system function back online, now all these other therapies and interventions that perhaps you've tried for your child and seen no results, limited results, or sometimes if you go out of order, you can actually see some regression or some return of other symptoms or emergence of other symptoms. And that's what I found when I went too deep into number 2. So what I really wanted to do is get pretty nerdy and pretty deep with this one, because the differences between number 2, especially, and number 3 are not that easy to see online, on a website, on Instagram, or in Facebook groups for families. But the differences are very important, and I've experienced them clinically myself. When we did too much, many things all at once, and most importantly, I figured out we were doing them in the wrong order, we got worse results. Now that we focus on this one foundational root cause thing of an imbalanced, dysregulated, sympathetic dominant nervous system, the results are incredible. When you go through neurologically focused chiropractic care and you focus on that first for your kids and family, you start to get them adjusted, and we focus on that and that alone with the right frequency, the right techniques. Then the child starts to improve their sleep. Then their digestion improves. Then their immune system improves. And actually, I should have put this one first. Now we start to see their proprioceptive vestibular motor system improve on its own. We see kiddos' primitive reflexes fade without even worrying about them. We see that all sorts of these other issues that other therapies are working on are actually tied to this central foundational issue of subluxation and sympathetic dominance in the first place. And if you go light at that, or you don't address that at all, that is why all these secondary or downstream issues, including things like tongue ties and airway issues and so forth, will be there. So instead of focusing on the downstream, secondary, tertiary issues, we focus on the foundational, real root cause issues with neurologically focused pediatric chiropractic care, and it makes all the difference in the world. I could go on and on and on, all of the details about option number 3, because it's distinctly different than number 1 and number 2. Number 1 and number 2 are awesome at the right time, the right place, for the right patient. But my bet tells me for your family, if you're exploring chiropractic care for your child struggling with any multitude of issues, or just for family wellness, proactive prevention, well, then neurologically focused chiropractic care is actually the specialty and the branch of chiropractic that is best fit and perfectly aligned, pun intended right there, bad joke to end this one, for your family. Simply comment more to learn more and get our article about the different types of chiropractic care. And there's also a full podcast from our Experience Miracles podcast that I did breaking down these differences even further. So if you'd like to learn more and really just make sure you're making the best decision for your family, simply comment more, hit the links in our bio or that come along with this video, find that podcast, the Experience Miracles podcast, on iTunes and Spotify, and we'll dig deeper with you. You can also go to our directory, go to our website, fill out a form, and we'll contact you, and you can chat with us, and we can explain these differences and these options further. I know this video is super important and super helpful for a lot of families because you've been considering chiropractic, but maybe all you knew is the standard spinal chiropractic, and then you're looking at these other differences and going, is there a difference? What are they, and do they matter? So I hope this video helped, and it may help another family. So please comment, please share, please send it to another one, and we'll see you on the next one.